Question number 15. This is about kung paano natin i-interpret yung tax law. Okay, here's the scenario. Yung Bureau of Internal Revenue, the BIR, issues an assessment based on the provision in the National Internal Revenue Code, which uses ambiguous phrase, incidental income from incidental services. Now, the Bureau interprets this phrase broadly to include taxpayers' entire revenue stream from the secondary business activity. The taxpayer argues for a narrow interpretation, limiting the scope only to minimal non-recurring income sources. Question is, which of the following fundamental rules of statutory construction should guide the court in resolving this ambiguity? And what is the effect of applying this rule? Kumbaga, nagkaroon ng ambiguous because it's not specific kung yung coverage ay yung incidental services ba ng taxpayer ay kasali. Yung particular kasi sinabi lang doon sa National Internal Revenue Code na income from incidental services. So, it could cover lahat ng incidental. Sabi dito, letter A, a strict interpretation, the law imposing a tax is strictly construed against the taxpayer. Okay. Sa statutory contract, statutory construction, pagdating sa tax, pag malabo yung law regarding sa tax imposition, yung nagsasabi kung ikaw ba ay taxable or hindi, kung malabo yun yung pagka-state, ang ibig sabihin yan, it must be interpreted against the government or the state. Hindi yan against the taxpayer. Kasi, unang-una, yung tax natin is a rule which is, at first is that is unfavorable na doon sa taxpayer. In other words, kung mayroon tax na i-impose, kailangan klaro yon na klaro yung pagkabanggit na kung ano yung subject at paano siya i-compute, etc. Kailangan sabihin kung covered ba talaga yung taxpayer or hindi. So, compelling the taxpayer to pay, this is not a valid reason for that, or to resolve the ambiguity of the case or of the tax interpretation of the statement, itong income from incidental services. Letter B naman, liberal interpretation, the law imposing a tax must be liberally construed to ensure full collection. And as taxes are the lifeblood of the government, thus validating the BIR. Well, taxes lifeblood is, yes, we agree with that, but this one is just a basis na just to give reason na kailangan mag-collect ng tax and there's no delay pagdating sa collection ng tax. Pero when it comes to the imposition, kailangan hindi siya arbitrary ang mangyari. Kailangan klaro yung batas na magpapataw ng tax. So it must not be liberally interpreted. So we cannot accept this B as the correct answer. So letter C, strict interpretation. Taxing statutes are to be strictly construed against the government, which is right pag may mga ambiguity na case, and liberally construed in favor of the taxpayer. So ito yung mali sa letter B kasi liberally construed in favor of the government to ensure full collection. It must be liberally construed in favor of the taxpayer. Ganun yun din. Kailangan siya strictly construed or interpreted against the government. So therefore, the court should adopt the narrower interpretation which limits the scope of the taxpayer. So ganun yung gawin. Okay? So we have a preferred choice, letter C. Equitable construction. The court must seek a equitable middle ground. So walang ganon na equitable middle ground to ensure the taxpayer pays a fair amount. Okay, as I said, walang ganon. Hindi yan pwede. So even if it requires writing the ambiguous provision to achieve a just result, there's no such thing like that because mayroon nang sabi ng batas kung paano mag-interpret or how to construe kung mayroong mga ganon na batas na nakalagay. So yun yung guide. So again, it cannot apply the equitable construction. So therefore, our answer is letter C. So yun, I just like to reiterate what I said na yung governing rule when it comes to the state's levying taxes are to be strictly construed against the state. So yun yung una. Why? It's because yung tax is the rule. Tax is a rule, while the tax exemption is an exception. Pagdating naman doon sa tax exemption, since that is in favor of the taxpayer at first, then kung mayroon mang mga ambiguity or malabo na pagka-construct or pagka-state doon sa batas ng tax, it has to be interpreted in favor of the government or liberally interpreted in favor of the government. So ganun yun. Now, this rule is rooted in the principle na yung power to tax is a high attribute of the sovereignty. And yung law imposing that must be clear. So, I need this to emphasize na when the interpretation, it must be clear and explicit. Now, if we go back into the notes, mayroon yung mga guidelines on how to interpret or construe tax laws. So, kung hindi siya doon sa hindi siya klaro doon sa text, then halimbawa it is subject to interpretation, then they have to go back to the intention of the legislation, which is the spirit of the law. Okay, yung isa doon sa option. Then if the provision daw is ambiguous, the scope of an imposed tax, the doubt is resolved in favor of the citizen. Okay, again, in favor of the citizen, which means adopting the interpretation that limits or excludes the tax. So, yun, klaro doon na nakalagay na ganun, na ganyan yung interpretation. Though, we can say that in the gross income definition, there is a it's like a it's a general, parang ika-capture niya lahat ng definition ng gross income kasi nakalagay kasi doon na another income, other incidental income, but not limited to the following. If you see the definition of the gross income, very broad ang kanyang pagka-interpret. Tapos, meron siyang list doon sa mga subjects na mga, pero sinabi niya doon, but not limited to the following. So, with that, it captures halos everything when it comes to that. I don't see any further revenue regulation that further addresses with that gross income. So, kung magtatanong ka sa mga BIR officials, yung kanilang interpretation when it comes to that is it captures everything, lahat. Kaya if you have stolen something, then you earn something from that theft, then you are going to be taxable pag ganun. For example, kung mayroong mga corruption, you are taxable with that pag makikita ng BIR.